watch what impresses you. Be mindful of what impresses you. The idea of a church is that we all transform together instead of conforming to the world. Be sensitive to gauge and to always balance and weigh. Who is God? What am I after here? We all at some points reek a little of the world. But your value system needs to be rooted and shifted. It can't be conformed to that of the world. We want you to be prosper, we want you to be blessed, but it is not the driving force behind why we live and why we exist. Now, it clearly says you cannot have two masters. So if you in your heart exalt Mammon, you will be driven by Mammon. And everything you do in your life, what you look for in a church will change. What you value in the word will change. Because the way of the Spirit is very different.
If there arises among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and he gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder comes to pass, of which he spoke to you, saying, Let us go after other gods, which you have not known, and let us serve them. You shall not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams.
And say you have a vision and you see very clearly God is shaped in a certain way. I saw a large sunflower, that means God is a sunflower. You can be so sure in your vision. You can feel the presence in your vision. But that doesn't mean that what you see is going to prove that that person is from God.
For the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul.
If somebody gives you a prophecy and just because it happens to be factual, that does not prove God. Now in the natural, you have intelligence, you have intel that can be stolen, that can be warped, that can be intercepted. In the spirit realm, it is the same. It doesn't prove that that is God. Now, at the same time, there is also the fake. If you are a group of people who are just hungry for Mammon, driven by Mammon, then an immature leader could feed you with just that and keep you in their control all the days of your life. And God will give you into their hands to see whether you're interested in Him or whether you just want what you want. But if you desire God, and if you really want to search after Him, to know Him, you won't gauge everything just on the face of it. You will look a little deeper. And you will value the things of the Spirit, and the Spirit of God will lead you into all truth. We are a church that serves and moves in the prophetic. We have a leader who is a prophet. We have signs and wonders. You guys remember, that's how we started. Every meeting, you guys would be covered with gold dust. The church, we started having most of our meetings funded by money miracles. But did we ever stop there? The sign was always supposed to point you somewhere. It would never form your character and never shape you and never build you up and never be strong enough to give you an inheritance. It would always warp you and halt you and stunt you in a certain place. You know, we can still just focus our meetings on doing that. But you would be an immature church instead of an intelligent church. So the idea is build a mature audience, mature in the word, who are hungry and hunger after the things of God, who are longing for intimacy with God, and who are not just distracted by everything that goes by that's like, oh, is that God? Okay, I'm going there because that's going to serve my self needs. The fruits of the Spirit, these things matter.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law.
Do I really want to walk deeply and more intimately with the God that I call Jesus Christ? We're made in the image of God. So the idea is not for the leader of a church to morph and conform into what you want. The idea is we don't go to that magnetic pull of the world, but we transform into the image of God. It is an actual ethical change that is made within our hearts and our bodies. Everything that we look and we value has to be Christocentric. We're always looking for Christ because we're not worshipping an abstract God anymore. The Godhead was fully made manifest in the Christ. And if you need any reference point to what kind of Savior you have, you're looking at a God who suffered, who gave his life, who humbled himself on a cross for you. And so it flips the narrative of that theology of glory, the flesh, the pomp, the pageantry. It flips that on the outside. And he's a God of grace. He wants you to grow. He wants you to prosper. He wants you to train your conscience. He wants you to do well. He wants you to enjoy and have the awesome things for your children, for your generations. But never forget that he's always looking at your heart.